Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zaki Ahmad. I'm from the group Forex. I want to present about Jihin Group Berhad. First, I want to introduce our group member. First is Saiful Hadi bin Jamal Suhaidi 255244. Next is Siti Nur Amelia Malik 259451. Next is Muhammad Zaki Ahmad 259297. I want to present about company information. Company name is Jihin Group Berhad. Stock name is Jihin. Stock code 5273. Sector home building and construction supply. Industry properties. Market capital RM 812 million. Price on the last market day before present RM 1.46. Company background. Jihin Group Berhad is an integrated conglomerate builder and provide building material and service to the construction and building industry. Business activity of the firm is operated through investment holding and management service, distribution of the building material and provision of logistics, ready mix construct and manufacturing of AAC and PCC construct product and manufacturing with our fire and mix and material roofing system segment. Jihin has a business presence across the region of Malaysia and Singapore. They are derived the majority of revenue from the distribution of building material segment which engage and trade and the distribution of building material, letting of properties and hire purchase financing. Business model. Jihin Group Berhad business model is B2B or business to business. This business model is a form transaction conducted between of the business and the other business, such as between manufacturer and wholesaler or between wholesaler and retailer. Jihin Group Berhad activity is provide building material and service to the construction and building industry.
Okay, thank you for the previous presenter. Now I will continue in my part, that is industry analysis and financial analysis. So first of all, I will start with my graph that return on equity. So based on ROE in the graph provided, so the percentage of ROE between Jihin and the average industry a very significant fluctuation from year to year. However, Jihin still maintain in high percentage in year of 2017 until 2019 compared to the average industry. The difference between Jihin and the average industry is negative 23% in 2019, while have a decrease in Jihin on 2012 until 2014, where the average industry exceed Jihin, that is 1.60% on year of 2012, and the last is 2014, that is negative 5.55%. So we can continue to the current ratio. So current ratio based on the graph, we can see that a pattern of current ratio of Jihin stock is increasing from last 9 years compared to average industry, with a decline on the current ratio. There is still an increase in the average industry in 2016 until 2017, and there is a decline again in 2018. The difference between Jihin stock and average industry is 2.31%. So next slide is dividend yield. So dividend yield we can see also in graph that provided. Dividend yield is a way to determine the investment income to the ratio. So as shown in the graph, that difference in yield plot between Jihin and average industry to determine income in 2009 until 2019, whether it increase or decrease. Since Jihin at a zero percentage, and so the average industry will still the above of the Jihin. So next is common equity, where common equity is a sharp decline occurred in Jihin, while the average industry moved at a more flat percentage. Although Jihin's common share is high compared to the average industry, Jihin is still able to continue to protect its profit through the value of their own shareholders. Then we can look at 2015 until 2017. More drastic decline happened in Jihin, but Jihin still able to even they have a decline for the graph, but they still able to maintain to over than average industry. So difference between this plot in 2009 is 2.3.2%, and compared to 2019, the difference is close to the average industry. And the next is total asset. So we can see the total asset of this graph. What is when they show the liquidity for certain asset for sale, then Chin Hin has a good performance in the movement of total asset graph where it exceeds than average industry. By the contrast, Chin Hin competitors also have a relatively good performance which is increased from year to year as in graph. Chin Hin have, but by the way, Chin Hin has a little decline in 2015 with difference between the average industry is 1.72%. This show that the liquidity in Chin Hin asset is high in 5 years before, and there is a decrease in liquidity rate from 2015 until 2019, while the liquidity rate of the average industry show a rapid movement with increasing every year. For earning per share, so earning per share we can see that the graph goes down, that Chin Hin and average industry have a same rate, but Chin Hin get increase the percentage on 2019 until 2019. Then net profit. So from this graph, you can see that net profit of Chin Hin still have a fluctuation but on 2017 they have a bad decline, where same goes with the average industry. They just have a good performance for the earlier 4 year before. Then they have happen in net profit for the last 5 last year. Then for the total asset turnover, we can see that Chin Hin turnover from start year until the end of 2019. So we can see from this graph that Chin Hin make an increasing from year to year and have a fluctuation decline in middle period, but they can still increase for the last period. Then DuPont and book value per share. For the DuPont, Chin Hin have a lower percentage for the 2009, but is still able to increase starting 2010 and until 2011, but have a bit decline on 2012, and they still able to increase a bit starting for 2013 and continue until 2019, and start decline for starting 2018. They start to decline a little bit for the DuPont. Then for the book value per share, we can see Chin Hin have make some increasing from 2011 then until 2016, then have a decline starting 2017 as shown in graph. So the percentage between average industry not really far. So they just have some value that sometimes is still can able to above of average industry. Okay, that's all for my part. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Saiful Hadi bin Jamal Shuhaili, matrix number 255244. Okay, so I would like to present about the valuation of Chin Hin Group. Investors or analysts perform a valuation analysis is to identify and to make decision whether the company's stock currently selling at cheap or undervalued, rightly priced or overvalued. This method is used to determine the intrinsic value of a stock. Investors should not invest in a company that the stock is undervalued. In addition, invest in the overvalued stock exposes the investors to high risk. The method chosen is relative valuation approach, which consists of price-earnings ratio, price-earnings to growth ratio, and price-book value. So for the PER or for the Chin Hin Group is 27.109. So this ratio indicates for valuing a company to measure its current share price relative to the earnings per share. This ratio has to be in a range of 10 until 50 only, because if below 10 we'll consider it as undervalued, and if it above 50 will be considered as overvalued. So Chin Hin Group PE is in normal range. And then PEG for Chin Hin Group is 0.6449. This ratio indicates a stock's value while factoring the company's expected earnings growth. The lower for this ratio is better for the company valuation, but cannot be in the negative range. So the best value for this ratio is 1, hence this stock considered as undervalued. And then price book value, PBV for the Jinhin Group is 1.3069. The price of book value of Jinhin Group was maintained zero from 2009 until 2015, but on 2016 until 2019, and the ratio was reached and above 1. That means the price book value of Jinhin Group does not achieve the requirement needed in valuation to be below than 1. Jinhin Group was inconsistent maintaining its ratio to be in the range below than 1. As for the recommendation, based on the evaluation results obtained, Jinhin Group performance was not good throughout 2009 until 2019 to be invested by investors due to a few factors. So the result of the study tells that investors should not buy the stock, and for those investors who still hold the stock, is advised to sell it. Below the reasons of the results were made. So number 1 is zero dividend yield. Dividend expressed as a percentage that shows how much a company pays to shareholders for owning its stock. Jinhin Group has no dividend since 2009 until 2019 to distribute to its investors that hold the stock. That's why investors should not buy the stock, because it has no dividend. And then its PEG is undervalued. The PEG of Jinhin Group was undervalued since the ratio is 0.6449, which is below than 1. Best range for this ratio is 1. The PEG indicates an over or underpriced stock, varies by company type for its future earnings expectation. And then lastly, price book value is more than 1. The price book value of Jinhin Group was maintained 0 from 2009 until 2015. But on 2016 until 2019, and the ratio was reached and above 1. That means the price book value of Jinhin Group does not achieve the requirement needed in valuation to be below than 1. Jinhin Group was inconsistent maintained to its ratio to be in the range below than 1. So details above mention the reasons why investors should not invest in Jinhin Group. It is advisable for the investor who still hold the stocks to sell it. Investors should find a stock which has high performance that can give high return than Jinhin Group.